Kuzampo. My name is Tenzing Lamsang. I'm the editor of the Bhutanese newspaper, and I am today attempting to do some political analysis after the primary round results and the developments since. I'm doing this because I see that generally we in the media are doing a lot of news reports, but there's not much analysis happening. So this is my attempt at it. Please uh, forgive me if I do make some mistakes, and please feel entirely free to disagree with whatever I analyze here. And right at the top, I would like to say that I am not predicting through the analysis whether BTP or PTP will win. We will find that only in the evening of 9th January. And this is just analysis of the current situation and the kind of conclusions or analysis we can withdraw from the results and other developments. So, after the primary round, PDP got 42.53% of the votes and 39 seats. Bhutan Tendral Party got 19.58% of the votes and 4 seats. DPT got 14.91% of the votes and 2 seats, and DNT got 13.12% of the votes and 2 seats, and DTT, which is Duk Thendral Songpa, got 9.83% of the votes and no seats. So, on what has been working for PDP's favor is that, and which it has been saying is that it's got more seats and more votes in the primary round, and what Tendral has been saying is that, what BTP has been saying is that, if you look at the two previous primary round results in 2018 and 2013 before that, the winner of the primary round has never won in the final round. So that's the argument by both parties, and let's examine each of these arguments also. Now, while PDP won 39 seats, it is, as per my analysis, it is stronger in 31 seats. Then it's not equally strong in all 39 seats, but it's stronger in 31 seats. I'm not saying invincible, but as per the mathematical data of the primary round results. So, PTP in 11 seats, primarily in South, it has more votes than all 4 parties combined. In 8 seats, it beats a combination of 3 or 3.5 parties. In 12 seats, it can beat Tendral plus 1 or plus 2 parties. So this is 31 seats in total, very stronger. Then Bhutan Tendral Party, apart from the 4 it won, it can pick up 12 seats in the east if DPT voters all vote for Tendral and not for PDP. And that would be 4 plus 12, that's 16 seats. So this is again not a prediction of the results, but just analysis based on the primary round. And then what about the DNT and DTT voters? So I'm assuming that here, just for analysis sake, let's say DPT voters are going with BTP. So what about DNT and DTT? So DNT and PTP they share a similar or the same voter base in the west and south and parts of the east, which has been the trend in the last 2 elections. The Druk Thendral Tsokpa voters, they are an unknown quantity, but they haven't got a large enough a number to make a big impact. But even then, for argument's sake, we can assume that DNT half could go with PDP, half could go with BTP, and DTT also the same calculation. Then let's analyze the BTP's argument that 2013 and 18 primary result winners never won the final round. So that is correct. They are factually correct there. However, it is a little bit more complicated than that. And before that, I picked up this saying from Facebook. Somebody had said it in one of the comment sections somewhere, that the blueprint of history, or the results of history, or history cannot be used as a blueprint for the future. So that is correct here. So while you can derive lessons from history, you cannot use it to accurately predict what will happen in the future. And the same is the case here. So in 2013 primary round, DPT got 44.53% of the votes and 33 seats. PDP got 31.51% of the votes and 12 seats. And DNT got 17.01% of the votes and 2 seats, and a party then called Drukche Rongsopa got 5.9% of the votes. So on the face of it, it looked like a huge DPT victory in 2013, and everybody was predicting, most were predicting that DPT would win in the final round also, because it already got 44.53% and the majority of the seats. But a closer look at the results show that DPT's big numbers came mostly from his huge win margins in the east, like Pemagatsel, Mongar, Trashigang, and even Jamgang and others. So, and then the other thing was that if you took again another close look at the seats, there were many seats even in the primary round where there was a close contest between DPT and PDP, and it was because of Nyamrup taking away PDP kind of votes that DPT could win in the seats. But once Nyamrup and PDP, essentially the voters came together. In fact, 7 of the Nyamrup candidates even joined PDP in 2013. This shared voter base became one, and basically PDP won with 32 seats in the final round in 2013. So it's a little bit more complicated. Then in 2018, a primary round, DPT got 30.92% of the votes and 22 seats, while DNT got 31.85% of the votes and 16 seats, and PDP got 27.44% and 9 seats. So it was common sense back then, political common sense back then, to assume that majority of PDP voters would be voting for DNT because of the same voter base and political rivalry between the two parties, which was quite heated up in 2013 and 18 also. So this is what exactly happened, and then DNT won with 30 seats and 54.95% of the votes in the final round in 2018. Now, the difference here is that if you go back to the 2013 primary round, DPT had 13% more votes than PDP in the primary round. But this time around, in the 2023-24 kind of election, in 2023 primary round, PDP has a lead of 23% over Bhutan Tendril Party. And if entire DPT en masse lock stock barrel voters voted for BTP also, it comes up, BTP's vote share comes from 19.58% only to 34.49%. And then let's add half of DNT and half of DTT, it comes up to 45.50%, which is still not enough. The problem for BTP is that it shares its voter base more with DPT, because BTP is, from purely mathematical again results, has done better in the east. Of course, it has done fairly well in the west and south, but much better in the east. And so BTP's vote base is shared mainly with DPT. Then the advantage for PDP is that its voter base is shared with DNT in the west and south and parts of the east, which are called the golden triangle to power in Bhutan, and this has been the case in the last 2 elections. So here another argument being made is that from the Tendril side is that and not necessarily Tendril supporters themselves, but let's say others, commentators and all, they say that Tendril will get the sympathy vote because it got such lesser votes in the primary round, and given past trends, it will get the sympathy vote, an underdog vote, which is very powerful, and it is a powerful element of Bhutanese politics, where underdog always gets some kind of an advantage. People feel sorry for them, and but there's another equally powerful, if not more powerful force, which is called the wanting to be on the winning side. And an example of this is in the by-election results from the first government's time. In fact, we didn't have any by-election in the first government, the second government and the third government, the by-election results. So in these second and third government by-election results, only Nanong Shumer stayed with the opposition in the by-election when the sitting MP is vacated their post for whatever different reasons. But North Thimphu by-election, Chukotang by-election, Khamdang Ramjar by-election, Ngamlang by-election all went from the opposition to the ruling party side. So there is a urge to be in the winning side. Then another thing is the role of regionalism in our politics. So I mean, let's face it, it is there to a certain degree. It has come down much more compared to the past, but a certain degree of it is there. And people, I'm not saying that the Bhutan Tendril party claims this, but I'm saying people, observers, have said that the BTP president is seen as a prime minister from the eastern region. So naturally, he will attract more voters from the east, which we saw in the primary round also. So that's a natural phenomenon. And then before the primary round voting, while the BTP's president was seen to be the potential prime minister from the east, the Duke Tendril Sokpa opened its head office in Trashigang. And for the smart people, you can read between the lines. It is the only party to have its head office from Trashigang. So the kind of perception, again, I'm not saying that Tendril or Tendril has claimed this, but the perception was that these two parties are trying to get the eastern vote base, which is a huge vote base in terms of voters and constituencies. So as a result, in politics, polarization works both ways. What seems to have happened, and again, this is just analysis, is that the voters in the south, when they saw two parties competing in the east more strongly, voters in the south started identifying more with BDP. And that's why BDP had a huge margin of victory in the south, because they started associating with PDP when they saw a couple of other parties being associated more with another region for whatever reasons. And apart from that, PDP was out of parliament for the last 5 years, and this one, I've said this before, so they used these 5 years out of parliament to work very hard on the ground to build the organization, and especially they worked hard in the east, which is why they won seats in Mongar, in Trashigang, and also picked up seats in the deputy, let's say, bastion of Pemaga. So they picked up one seat there and a close second in another seat. So, and among the eastern voters also, there is, I think, now kind of a fatigue of being in the opposition for the last 10 years. Another factor in this election, and this could play either way, is that voters don't follow party whispers. So a party president or candidates may want to favor a particular party for the final round, but voters generally make up their own minds, and and that is important. Then one theory was that after the primary round, some said that now all the other three parties which are out of parliament, out of race, will gang up and join with BTP in terms of voters and supporters and all that against PTP. So the ganging up theory was there. But the ganging up theory on the ground is not taking place. That's at least my observation so far. So while talking to people from different parties, now what's happening is that it is different in every constituency, and it depends on the candidates and how they're able to appeal to the supporters and voters of the other party. So to the extent that in some constituencies, PDP candidates are able to appeal to DPT supporters and voters. In other constituencies, Tendril candidates are able to appeal to DNT supporters and voters. It's a mixed bag. So it's not like all going to go one way or the other. It's a mixed bag constituency wise, depending on the candidate, how they can talk, how they can communicate, what programs and manifesto they can offer. So Anibedu. Then the other thing also is I've talked to the president of DNT, and he has made it very clear, and the president of all the parties, in fact, the three parties outside parliament, DNT, DPT, and DTT. And all the three presidents and even the general secretaries have made it clear that their parties are not supporting any particular party, Tendril or PDP, in the final round. So the parties are not taking an official stance. Their voters and supporters and candidates are free to support whomever they want. So the ganging up theory is not exactly taking place. Then one argument is anti-incumbency. What worked very powerfully against DPT in 2013 was that it was the ruling government from 2008 to 13. So even though it did very well in the 2013 primary round, because it was the anti-incumbency in Bhutan, Bhutanese politics is so strong, in the general round, and along with other factors, in the general round, it lost to PDP. But this time around, both the parties in the running in the final round are not in government. DNT was in government, it's out in the primary round. Even the opposition party, which is DPT, is also out. So you have kind of two fresh parties. Yes, PDP served from 2013 to 18, but they've turned it around and they're using that tenure, in fact, to try and fetch votes, saying in our time we did this, we did that, economy was doing like this. That you've seen in the debates and you've been knowing quite well. Now, despite saying all this, I am saying that, there are three X factors. Though the numbers are stacked against BTP because of the primary round results, numbers are stacked against BTP. The argument of 2013-18 ki any primary round not winning general round, it is a very complicated argument, and I've already discussed the merits and demerits of that. What could help Bhutan Tendril Party, I call, are the three X factors. The first X factor is, there definitely will be a higher turnout in the general round. Like for example, in 2018 primary round, the voter turnout was 56.36%. And then in the final round, it increased to 71.46%. So this time the turnout in the primary round is 63% and definitely is going to go up in the final round. So this increased turnout of voters means fresh new voters who did not even vote in the primary round. So which way they decide to go plays a huge role in deciding who's the ultimate winner in the general election round. Then another factor is that while theoretically we've said that, okay, I'm saying analysis, DPT mostly voters may go with Bhutan Tendril Party given past political history. And I'm saying DNT and DTT may go half-half. These are theories, all theories in the air. We're all discussing theories based on practical numbers also. But theories are theories. If DNT voters and supporters decide to go for a divorce with PDP, even in spite of sharing the same voter votes, decide to go for a divorce for whatever reasons, and then DTT voters also vote more for Bhutan Tendril. DPT, I'm assuming majority will go for Tendril. Then PDP is in deep trouble. Then the numbers will change quite a bit. The third X factor is that the election campaign period, and this is something I said earlier also, wrote about earlier, on December 2nd itself in fact, is that PDP will get in trouble if BTP uses the election campaign period, the debates, to run an emotional narrative against PDP, a narrative against PDP. And that has been happening because in the first president and vice president's debate after the primary round, in the concluding part, the Bhutan Tendril Party president took a pot shot at the PDP president, and we've been seeing that every debate, we've been seeing that kind of aggression, an attempt to build a narrative. Of course, PDP candidates have also kind of been aggressive and all that, but Tendril has taken the initiative and to build that narrative. So if that narrative is strongly built, then PDP could be in trouble. So the three X factors. So again, at the end of the day, I'm saying this is not to predict the winners. It's anyone's game, but a little analysis never harmed anyone. So signing off and thank you.